very warm welcome to you all to the one-on-one set. In the studio tonight, we have with us Rayan Proag. He is the African Jiu-Jitsu champion in the category 69 kg. And tonight, during this episode of One-on-One, Rayan will share with us more about his passion and journey in sports. Rayan, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the MBC.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege and honor to be here.
Hi Jan, you are the African champion in Jiu-Jitsu. You recently won the gold medal for the African Games. And so share with us, how did you develop this passion for sports?
Well, my journey in Jiu-Jitsu started very young. Ever since the tender age of 18 months, I was brought onto the mats, and you can say that I never left them. I grew up on the mats. I was brought by my parents, my father, who's a coach, and ever since then, I have never been able to leave the mats, as you say.
So what really pushed you to actually pursue Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, as I said, I grew up on the mats. I've been seeing my elders practice ever since I was a kid. I've been influenced by it all my life. I've been seeing them, the elders, practicing and competing, and I wanted to emulate them. I wanted to do the same as they did, and wanted to be as good as they were, and just want and the love for the sports for that sport developed over the years, and I've never been able to let it go.
Do you actually practice other sports as well besides Jiu-Jitsu?
Oh yes, I you could say I'm a bit of a passion a sports freak. I enjoy very much playing football. I enjoy swimming. I enjoy any kind of sports you can imagine, whether it be playing badminton or basketball. But competitively, I practice jujitsu and a bit of football. I used to do some swimming, but not at a very high level. But yes, I am a
Very much
sports.
sports person.
Yes, sports you can say as a whole is my passion.
Great. Hi, Jan. You've told us it's been years you practice jujitsu, even at the competition level. So, share with us about the different types of jujitsu that we have and give us a bit of idea of what type of jujitsu you actually practice.
All right. So the origins of jujitsu date back to Japan, in the ancient Japan, where no traditionally jujitsu comes from the martial arts that was practiced by the samurais when they would be disarmed without their swords. This is the martial art that they would use on the battlefield. And now, in the modern world, jiu-jitsu has evolved into a sport that is practiced competitively. And recently, there has been a boom, especially in what we call Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is an aspect of jiu-jitsu that is focused only on the groundwork. But even that has its roots in the Japanese, what you say, Japanese traditional jiu-jitsu. So I compete in under the JJIF, which is the Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, and in the Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, we have different modes of competition, which are the fighting system, which is kind of more what you would call the traditional Jiu-Jitsu fighting system. You also have the BJJ, or in its Japanese name called Newaza, and full contact and judo and juosho. But I compete in both fighting, BJJ Newaza, and full contact.
And you won gold medal in.
I won the gold medal at the last African Championships in November last year. I won the gold in full contact. I won the silver in BJJ Newaza, and I lost the bronze final for fighting.
Okay, was it actually your first competition at the continental level, or
It was actually my third African Championships last year. My first African Championships dates back to 2016.
okay?
I was still 18 at that time. I competed in the adults category, even though I was still a junior, and came back with one silver medal in the fighting system and one silver medal in the BJJ system. And then I was back in the African Championships in 20, I want to say 2019, because there's a bit of a break because I went for my studies in the UK. In 2019, I got to two bronze medals fights, which unfortunately I lost. Before coming back last year again, after a break for studies and winning gold and silver.
So did you expect to make such a good performance for the African Championship among so many others competitors who are already very well established?
Well, when you go to to a competition, you go there with the goal of winning the gold medals. When I went there through my preparations for the championship, my goal was to come back with. Obviously, I was competing in three systems, so to come back with three gold medals. Unfortunately, I only came back with one gold medal and one silver medal. Uh, I say unfortunately because it's not what I was aiming for. I was aiming for free gold, but I do realize that I do realize that it is still a great
Achievement
result,
indeed, yeah.
and I have learned to appreciate that result, and I'm very grateful for that result. But yes, when you go for a competition, you typically if you speak to athletes, they'll always tell you that they go for the gold, and that's the mentality I go into.
And how does it feel, to represent your country at different competition in the international level?
It's a proud moment. Um, One of the reasons why I like competing is to represent the country. I do feel how would I say, the honor and the privilege to represent my country and to try and bring our Mauritian flag on the highest podium. And it is it is an indescribable feeling that one feels when you're on the podium, seeing your national flag and hearing your national anthem being played is a special moment. I follow every Mauritian athlete to whatever games or competitions that they go to and support them, as I'm sure a lot of our population does. I hope everyone does.
Indeed. Yes. Hi, Jan, but we all know that we don't always win gold. At times, not even bronze. So how do you deal with failures as an athlete?
Obviously, losing is part of the game. How you deal with those losses is what matters, as you say. For me, when I do not win something or when I do not win the goal, I take it as I use it as motivation to keep on going, to keep on training, and say, okay, if I didn't win, there's a reason why I didn't win. There must be something that was lacking in my preparation, or maybe sometimes it's just bad luck. But that, that let's say that pain or that sadness that you feel on the spur of the moment, I quickly turn that into motivation, into a reason to keep going, to motivate myself, to train harder,
Yeah.
so that next time I can be even better. No matter the result. As I said, I do aim for gold, but as long as I'm happy with the preparation I've done, as long as I'm happy with my performance out there, if the result did not follow, I'm a bit sad, but I do not let that hold me back. I use it as fuel to
Yeah,
keep
to
on going.
rechannel your energy. The
Exactly.
most important thing is to give your best in every
Exactly.
competition, right?
Exactly. You can only do that, right?
Yeah.
You only have to give your best, uh, give your everything, and as long as you've done that, results will follow. And if they haven't, then that keeps you motivated to keep
For next
going.
time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hi, Jan. Like we know, to participate in any competition, become continental, national, or even international, we require a good level of preparation, right? So talk to us about how do you prepare yourself for your different competitions that you go to?
So to prepare myself, it involves a specific and regular training regime or schedule. Depending on how far or close we are to the competitions, our intensity or ways of training vary. So I typically train almost every day. I'm on the mats 4 times a week, and when I'm on days that I'm not on the mats, I'm either in the gym or running or uh, looking to get my strength and conditioning aspect of my training done. And also, of course, a good nutrition has to follow,
Yeah.
because in our sports, in most martial arts or fighting sports, you have weight categories. So I have to keep my weight checked, as I am right now, because I'm currently in the preparation for a Grand Prix coming up in June. So I'm cutting down on weight, and my how do you say, my training has increased in intensity. Right now, it's a bit less techniques that we're working on, a bit more sparring to get used to the fights, to get used uh, to the competition environment, etc.
Yeah, but if intense training or proper nutrition is important, so is, recovery to avoid
Oh
injuries.
yes, of course. Recovery is part of your training. You have to know when too much is too much. Sometimes there's a good saying that says sometimes more is less. So
Yeah.
too much of training can be bad. So you have to know when it's time to take your foot off the gas and recover. Recovery is done through your food that you eat, through good sleep,
Yeah.
and also taking care of nicks and knacks that you get, knocks that you get whilst training, icing them, getting the proper medication, and mostly being to listening to your body.
Yeah, indeed. So physical training is important, proper nutrition, recovery. What about the mental strategies that you use to prepare yourself for intense competition matches?
Okay, so as when it comes to the mental part, I typically try to visualize what I will do at the competition. So I've been on the circuit, as you would say, for more than a decade now,
Yeah.
and so I have got used to know what a competition day looks like, and what I typically do now is visualize, try to put myself in the same environment that I would be there, visualize the mats as they would be there, or the crowd that would be there, my opponents that would be there, and try to practice, even if it's only by myself, shadow sparring, practice the movements that I think I will do, visualize that they will work, visualize. It's a lot about visualization, and of course, sometimes you can watch some of the if you know in advance the fighters that will be there in your category, you can go and search for them, which I don't necessarily do all the time. I rather I'd rather impose my strategy, my fighting style on the mats. But of course, it is good to do some research on your opponents just to get to know their fighting style. But I don't do too much of that. I do it because you have
Yeah,
to,
you have
but I don't
to.
do too much of it.
So what strategies you find most effective during the competitions and why?
Okay, on the day of the competition, what I do is I listen to music. Always have my headset or my earphones in, because that helps me um, stay connected, stay concentrated in my fight. Uh, the only time that I will only remove my headset right before getting on the mats. Of course, I remove them when I am talking to my coach, when he's giving me
Advice.
advice on my opponents, on what he thinks will work in that next
Hmm.
fight, which of course I take on board every time. Uh, I but mostly I tend to be in my bubble, concentrated with my music, focusing, practicing my movements in the warm up area, and again visualizing and
Yeah.
just remaining focused.
So you try to imagine the fight before actually even going to fight in the
Yes,
mats.
sort of. Yes, I imagine the fight. I try and see how it will go in my head, and once I step on the mats, I try and put what I have visualized in practice.
That helps.
It
So far I
does.
did.
So far, it has.
Yeah. But Hayan, talk to us about the most memorable highlight in your career so far as an athlete.
Well, I have to say it is the last African Championships,
Okay.
because that is the gold medal at the African Championships so far is my most prestigious one, you would say. Uh, it was a very proud moment. I've been searching for that gold medal at the continental level for quite a while. So that is definitely one. Uh, Another one would be my first international medal, which dates back to 2014, I would say. I was not 16 yet. I competed in the adults category. That was in Madagascar, and it was my first international competition. Obviously, your first medal at the
Yeah,
international level stays with you all your life.
indeed. Yeah. It's
So
very
that was very
special.
memorable as
Yeah.
well.
And like you said, you started very at a very young age. And now, how do you view the evolution, the growth of jiu-jitsu over the years?
Well, internationally, Jiu-Jitsu, especially BJJ, is growing very rapidly. Even in Mauritius, we are a growing community, and we have had very good athletes. I remember when I was a kid, I was looking up to the elders, my elders. Dates back to 2008 or earlier, when I when you asked me about my inspirations earlier.
Yeah.
We had guys like Nitish Bahadur. I hope they don't mind me naming them here.
No.
Nitish Bahadur, Alex Bissessa, Denis Douce, Jean-Christophe Chung, Tariq Magou. I grew up watching them, and now I am competing, and we are a growing community.
Indeed, that's nice. And do you feel that Jiu-Jitsu martial art has helped you to overcome certain challenges outside competition? I mean, you've you've incorporated some of the things that you've learned in your life as well.
Definitely. When I was a kid, I from what people have told me, my parents and elders, I used to have a bit of a temper, you would say, or I was a bit impatient. But jujitsu has remain helps me in my everyday life to remain calm, to remain disciplined, and yeah.
Yeah. So, what challenges do you still see there for Jiu-Jitsu athletes?
For athletes who want to participate, sometimes funding or proper support might be a bit of an issue. Right now, as I said, I am preparing myself for a competition in June. We've got Adil Duki as well, who's coming with me. We're going together to Thailand for the Jiu-Jitsu Grand Prix there. We do get support from the ministry and the federation. Proper training might be difficult without the proper support. Sometimes we have had to look for sponsors to help us fund our travel overseas to the competitions, but that otherwise, I don't see much of an obstacle to that would obstruct someone to want to join the jiu-jitsu family and compete.
And how's the preparations going for the upcoming competition?
They're going very well, thank you. Um, they're going very well. I'm confident that we are we're going to be well prepared for the comp, and hopefully we can come back with some medals.
So, it's only the two of you who are going for the competition.
As of now, yes.
Okay. So we are actually drawing towards the end of this episode, but before that, Ryan, any advice you would like to give to upcoming jiu-jitsu athletes who are watching you right now?
My advice would be not to give up, to keep going, and even the youngsters. I think I'd rather direct it to youngsters who are still at school. It is possible to do both sports and excel at education. It's all about time management. For example, I know we have one of our guys who was out with us at the African Championships last year, Kilan Gugon, who is still at school. He won a bronze medal and is excelling at his studies. And I have always said, for me personally, practicing a sport, practicing jujitsu, has helped me in my academic life. It has given me an outlet to disconnect from my studies, gives me an outlet to recharge my batteries so that when I go back to my studies or now when I go back to work, I am more focused in my work and I can be more productive, be it in my when I was studying or now when I'm working.
I think it helps one, to adopt just a healthy lifestyle
Oh
and be very
yes.
consistent about the things you want to achieve.
Obviously, any sport you practice, it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. Just practicing a sport gives you an outlet to recharge your batteries. Sometimes you just have to, how do you say,
Disconnect from the world and
disconnect from the
reconnect with
world, disconnect
yourself.
from the pressures of life
Yeah,
that you feel at work or at school. And sports is an excellent outlet for that. It keeps you
definitely.
healthy, and when you get back to your work after having worked out, you're more focused, you feel fresh, and you can be more productive.
Totally, Ryan. Thank you so much. It was a delight to have you on the set tonight, learn more about your passion for Jiu-Jitsu, and we wish you all the best for your upcoming competition.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was a real pleasure, and thank you for the wishes.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end to this episode. Thank you for your time. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.